Welcome back to the Cossy channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the week we've been waiting for. This week, Arsenal could sign a centre forward, announce the signing of Zubimedi. Kepa could do his medicals, and Arsenal are going to get that big decision from Thomas Partey whether he's going to stay or leave the club. Also, Arsenal are waiting on that big decision between Xabi Alonso and Rodrigo. Are Madrid going to sell Rodrigo at how much? And is he going to choose Arsenal over all the other clubs interested? This week is going to be massive at the club. Now, Sky Sports are saying Arsenal are going to progress on a couple of deals starting with July. And of course, this is the week that leads us into July. We should be seeing a couple of bids. We should be seeing a couple of personal terms agreed with a couple of key players. Andre Barca and Mikel Arteta. This is the week to cook. So in this video, let's delve into what you're going to see in the upcoming week. What should you be expecting of Arsenal in the coming week? Hit the like button. Let's get into it. Now, of course, the big story this week should be around the centre forward. Where we are as we come into this week is Arsenal are still trying to maneuver on a couple of deals, but especially Benjamin Šeško and Viktor Gyokores. So on both deals, what are we expecting and what are we likely to see happen this week? Let's start off with the Viktor Gyokores deal. Now, with Viktor Gyokores, he's already had an agreement with Sporting for 70 million euros. If anyone comes in with 70 million euros, they should be able to sell him. And Sporting are ready to honor that agreement if a club comes in with the right terms and conditions. So, Arsenal know about the price, Arsenal know about the agreement. We also have a very good relationship between us and Viktor Gyokores and the agent of the player. So for me, this week, we should be able to agree personal terms concretely with Viktor Gyokores. At least that should happen this week. We should be able to clear out all the talk about he wants 300k, he wants 200k. This is the week where Arsenal give that official contract, not official contract really, but official offer verbally to Viktor Gyokores, whether it's 150,000, 200,000. This is the week where we iron out our differences in personal terms. That is number one. Number two, I don't think Arsenal really need to understand the structure so much for this deal to happen. It's a very easy deal, 70 million euros, a market opportunity. Arsenal should be able to talk to Sporting, iron out their differences on the structure of payment, and make a bid. Those are the two things concretely that I think will happen if Arsenal are going to sign Viktor Gyokores. But I also have a feeling that Gyokores is still an option. Fabrizio says Gyokores is still an option. Yes, we know that he wants Arsenal. We know that he's given us his priority. And Mikel Arteta loves a player that gives Arsenal his priority. He's waiting for Arsenal, turns down Manchester United, turns down Juventus. So maybe this is the week where Arsenal decide, listen, Šeško, we love you. We understand you're going to be a very big player, but we want to go for a player that is really committed to this Arsenal project, and we want to go with management that understands the vision and is in line with what we want to do. But if Arsenal are not going to sign Viktor Gyokores, then we should be able to progress on the Benjamin Šeško front. So where are we at the moment? At the moment, Arsenal have been sitting with RB Leipzig to understand the structure, the price, the bonuses, and how much they really want in terms of upfront payments and also initial figures. That is according to the Athletic. So this week, we should be able to iron out the structure of payment, and we should also be able to agree on the total package. There is still a very big difference in terms of what Leipzig want for the player and what Arsenal are willing to offer. We want to pay about 70 million euros. These guys want 100 million euros. Actually, I was looking at the build and they were saying Leipzig value the player at the same price as Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. If that is the case, then this week should be about compromises and kind of bridging the gap between the two clubs, because it is still far away. Because if you think about Arsenal want to pay 70 million euros or 60 million euros for a new centre forward, and that is the price for Viktor Gyokores. But if you want to pay 60 million euros or 70 million euros for a centre forward, and Šeško is 100 million euros, and you want to sign your centre forward in July, before pre-season to be precise, then this is the week you determine whether you can do the deal or not. this is the week you determine whether you can bid for this player or not. If they're insisting on 90 million euros and you're not willing to go as high, you walk away. So this is what's going to happen on the Benjamin Šeško front. One, either Arsenal compromise and increase the price they want to pay for Šeško, or RB Leipzig compromise and reduce the asking price for the player, or Arsenal walk away. I won't be surprised for the Athletic to give us a bomber, or for Fabrizio to give us an update that Arsenal have decided to walk away from the Benjamin Šeško deal. In terms of personal terms, this is where a lot of drama is, and this is where a lot of drama has to be ironed out as well. Because in terms of the pricing, I think Arsenal could agree to pay £60 million and maybe a few couple of millions in add-ons. But when you think about the personal terms of the player, he knows Liverpool want him. He knows United want him. He knows he's selling like a hot cake, right? So Arsenal have to iron out the personal terms with Benjamin Šeško. That release clause thing that they want to put in his contract, that should be ironed out as quickly as possible, as clearly as possible. Secondly, we should also be able to understand what is the best wage the player wants and how much are we willing to offer, and we should be able to come to a consensus, because I don't think you enter July, right, and then you're arguing personal terms with the player, and then you understand your structure, and then you're doing all this. So all this week, what Arsenal need to be doing is just understanding what do we have to do to get Šeško, and making sure that we reach a compromise and a consensus between the two clubs and Arsenal and the player. But apart from the striker, Arsenal have a lot of business to work on. We have a lot of things to do. We have to announce Zubimedi, right? So Martin Zubimedi might be announced this week. Of course, we were told that the announcement of Martin Zubimedi should be coming at some point in time in July. Now, the first day of July could be that, and that is coming next Sunday. I think this coming Sunday, that will be the 1st of July, or Monday, right? So Arsenal should be announcing the signing of Martin Zubimedi, putting up the shirt number 36, signing his contract officially, and registering the signing of the player. That should be happening this week. I don't expect anything else, because Zubimedi has to go back on holiday. I don't think Arsenal bring him in London, make him do medicals, sign everything, and then he goes, and then he comes back for the announcement, or Arsenal announce him later. It will be boring. So I think what's going to happen this week, he completes his medicals, he completes all the formalities, we announce him as a new Arsenal player, but Arsenal might take some time to register this deal in order to allow Real Sociedad to work on their finances, and maybe we might register this deal as a deal part of the new financial year. Actually, all Arsenal signings might be registered as transfers part of the new financial year, and that is only fair to Andre Bata, because if he's doing deals in the new financial year, it means he's got cash and he's got a clean slate to actually begin with. But Arsenal fans, you've been waiting for this big announcement. You've been waiting for this week where we get a deal announced. This is the week, in my opinion. Now, another player is set to do medicals at Arsenal, and we might see another arrival again this week. Obviously, with Kepa, he won't be flying from. I don't think he's in London. I don't think he's London. I think he went out with Spain for the national team duty, and maybe he's on holiday. So with Kepa, we expect him to fly into London, arrive at the Arsenal HQ, do his medicals, and be announced as an Arsenal player as well. I don't think the announcement of Kepa comes this week, but what I think with Kepa, we're going to reactivate or activate that release clause in his contract at Chelsea. That's number one, the £5 million release clause. Then Arsenal can put him on medicals, and then the announcement could come somewhere next week. I don't expect that to come this week. I expect that to come somewhere next week. So that all that will happen this week. Because listen, if you're working on other deals, then you better get Kepa out of the way. You better get Zubimedi out of the way to give you ample time and enough time to to work on the Partey, to work on the Rodrigo, to work on the striker situation as well. Now, this week, we expect Bayern to make a bid for Gabriel Martinelli. That is one of the stories that maybe is coming too soon for Arsenal fans. Maybe you want us to first do other deals and then work on the Gabriel Martinelli later. But Bayern are desperate. They're trying to sign a left winger, and they've been snubbed by a couple of endeavors. They tried to keep Sané, rejected. They tried to sign with Nico Williams, rejected. I think they wanted to do the Rodrigo deal as well, but the price is too much for them. So they have the Rafa Leao deal on the table and the Gabriel Martinelli deal on the table. But according to sources from German, Bayern are preparing a bid for Gabriel Martinelli. So this is the week where Bayern send in that bid and Arsenal evaluate it. Is it enough? Is it too much? I don't think it can be too much. Is it too small? Is it too low? What is the structure? Bayern are one of those clubs, you know how big clubs do their business, right? They want a player, they agree personal terms with that player, they bid, and they take him. They don't take a lot of time. So if Bayern are really interested in Martinelli, I won't be surprised for them to do this deal within a week or two, and then it's off the table. So this week, be ready. Bayern could send us a bid on Gabriel Martinelli, and then Arsenal will have to decide. We have a big decision to wait for this week as well, and that is the Thomas Partey decision. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? And also another big decision is, are Arsenal going to give him a higher raise? Are they going to give him, the same money he's been earning? Are they going to continue to say, take a pay cut, or are they going to give him a raise? Now, I think this week is crucial for Thomas Partey and Arsenal. One, if your Partey and June is gone, you want to know by the beginning of July, right? You want a quick resolution. Are Arsenal going to keep you? If they're not going to keep you, then, before clubs sign other players, you actually avail yourself as a free agent. Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Barcelona, Saudi Arabian clubs are all interested. If you're Arsenal, you also want a quick resolution on the Thomas Partey situation, because you don't want to end July undecided, right? And then you don't want to enter July undecided, and then you have, players committing to longer-term contracts and clubs not willing to sell because the window is ending. Also, Thomas Partey's contract ends this week. At the end of this week, Partey will not be an Arsenal player by contract. Now, he might stay in negotiations with Arsenal, but he won't be obliged to, as an Arsenal player. So that means he can agree personal terms and he can sign for any other club because he will be out of contract at the end of this week. So we are waiting for that. I think if Partey decides to go, this week we are going to concretely understand Arsenal's plan to replace Partey. Is it going to be a reinvention in kind of a different player, or is it going to be a like-for-like player? We might also progress on a few fronts to try and understand the availability of certain players. Maybe Lucien Agume, maybe Morgan Rogers, maybe Morgan Gibbs-White, maybe Warren Zaïre-Emery. It's going to take some time, right? But what I understand is that if Partey leaves, Arsenal will identify their next target in that position. I don't have any expectations of this one. Partey might stay, Partey might leave. I'm praying he stays. Now, the Rodrigo situation could actually unfold as well. But with the Rodrigo situation, the speed of which it might be determined by the Gabriel Martinelli deal. If Gabriel Martinelli leaves Arsenal, like this week or next week, I think the Rodrigo deal will actually catch fire. But what we could get this week from Rodrigo and that end is that meeting between Rodrigo and Xabi Alonso, especially after at the end of the Club World Cup. We are going to know, is Rodrigo really going to stay? Is he in the plans of Xabi Alonso? We are being told that the player is unhappy playing on the left-hand side of the attack. Is that going to continue? Is he being given any assurances? Is he being given any hopes of getting the favorite position he wants on the left-hand side? We are going to find out all that and more. So a decision will be made by Real Madrid this week. and I expect Xabi Alonso and Rodrigo to meet and iron out their differences. I think it's going to be a gentleman's argument. Stay, but you're going to be playing on the right wing, or I don't have you in my plans. I mean, he might say that. I don't have you in my plans. I want to play Adagule like I've been using Florent Vaz. Actually, that's another big possibility. So Rodrigo, we should be getting concrete expectations and concrete details this week as well. And finally, on the Gabriel Hato story, now Gabriel Hato is a bit like the Julian Timber story. You know, Arsenal made a bid for Julian Timber, and then we kept quiet for like 3 weeks. And then after that, we signed Julian Timber. So I think with Gabriel Hato, Arsenal have given him a 6-year deal. We have offered him a 6-year deal. This might go quiet, and like unexpectedly, this might go quiet. Now, personal terms might be agreed because I don't think Arsenal and Gabriel Hato are going to stress over personal terms. But if not that, we might see personal terms agreed, and then it goes quiet for about 2 weeks. But this week is definitely a big one at Arsenal.